Frieza was resurrected, and those on Earth were able to defend themselves. However, Piccolo did see what happened and decided maybe it's best that he heads back there for a bit. In order to hold up his vow to protect Earth, he decides this is the best course of action. But how has everyone grown since he left? And more importantly, how has Piccolo grown? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 4 of What If Piccolo Was the Strongest. Piccolo goes to Whis and asks him to take him to Earth. It has been a while since he's been there, and Beerus says he has been keeping up with his training, so yeah, he can go there if he wants, he doesn't really care. So, Whis takes him there. And once he arrives back, he immediately meets up with the others. They assume he's here because he probably knew about Frieza, and that's exactly why he's here. He saw what happened with them, and he's gotta say, he's impressed. They're able to hold themselves pretty well, and he knew they were powerful, but he saw how powerful Frieza was too, and the fact that they were able to fend off against him, that's pretty impressive, especially with that technique that Goku and Gohan use, that fusion thing. But he sees they've evolved Super Saiyan even more. He remembers Goku working with Super Saiyan 3, but now it seems they're using it a lot more efficiently. And Goku says, yeah, it has its drawbacks, but now they have a full-powered version of it. It doesn't have the glaring downsides that it did before. The most interesting thing to Piccolo is the fact of who's the strongest here. Gohan's the strongest, and behind Gohan, it's Vegeta. He has better control on full-power Super Saiyan 3, since Goku didn't get it as soon as him. And for Gohan, he's Gohan. He has that hybrid Saiyan potential, so of course he's going to stay ahead. Although, while Goku is the weakest with Super Saiyan 3 alone, he doesn't just have Super Saiyan 3. So things really have changed since he left. Well, pretty much as expected. And the humans have been training a lot too. But Piccolo wants to see how much he truly missed out on. He wants to test their power, see where they stack up against him, and more importantly, see if he can test out his new power against them. He explains where he was and what he's been up to. And they can't believe what they're hearing. He's a rival for a god of destruction? Besides Vegeta, nobody has a clue of who or what that is, but the name alone sounds scary enough to make it impressive. And he tells them about godly powers as well, and the powers that he's gained. He's also evolved himself further, and he'd be glad to show them, but he wants to see their full strength too. Hold nothing back. He could handle it. From what he saw with Frieza seemed like an opponent that he could take on too. So whatever the Saiyans and humans have here, he'll take that as well. So everyone gets ready for a fight. Vegeta's the one to step up first. He tells Piccolo he'd love to say this fight won't go like last time, but since he has some new divine powers, he has no clue what Piccolo has up his sleeve. But Vegeta feels he can overcome it. He goes into Super Saiyan 3, and Piccolo goes into his Power Awakened state. Piccolo's able to fend off Vegeta, and whenever Vegeta does hit him, it doesn't seem to do too much damage. And Vegeta's definitely not holding back either, because Piccolo told him not to, and Vegeta's not one to do that anyways. So he's surprised that Piccolo is just taking all these like it's nothing. Maybe he truly could have beaten Frieza. Gohan jumps in next. He is the strongest of the 3 Saiyans, at least with Super Saiyan 3. And Piccolo could see, he's grown a lot as a fighter. He's proud of Gohan's growth. Not only in terms of strength, but just as a warrior in general. The fact that he's still keeping up with his training too, fighting like this, alongside the others. And he seemed to put in a valiant effort against Frieza to defend Earth. But he's defeated as well, and Goku steps up to fight. Well, he's sure Piccolo already saw this briefly against Frieza. Gohan is the strongest as Super Saiyan 3 right now, but Goku has something else. Although, it's something he can only really use in short bursts. He goes into Super Saiyan 3, and tells Piccolo he'd also stack Kaioken on top of it now. He likes to jump into it when attacking. Any longer and it's completely draining and harms him greatly. And that's what they kinda did against Frieza when he landed the finishing blow. He powered up in Kaioken briefly just to add the extra kick, and Piccolo asks Goku to show it. They briefly fight. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is definitely weaker than Gohan, but Super Saiyan 3 with Kaioken, that's definitely above him. Goku wants to use this for longer periods of time, but he doesn't know how possible it will be. And they all also wonder if there's a way to go beyond Super Saiyan 3. At least that's what Vegeta's wondering. While Goku looks more at Kaioken. And Piccolo still is able to beat Goku, but he does have one more ask of them. He wants Goku and Gohan to fuse again. He wants to show his true power, but no offense, he doesn't want the fight to end too quickly. Oh yeah, that's right. Piccolo's still holding something back. Well, they want to see it immediately. And Vegeta really wants to see it immediately. So he butts in. He says he'll fuse to fight Piccolo. He still doesn't really like the idea of it, but he saw that dance happen and feels like he could probably copy it. And that's interesting because Goku thinks that the fusion between him and Vegeta might actually be pretty cool. Probably not as powerful as Gokan, but still, what would they call that one? Gogeta, maybe? Vegeta says stop focusing on the name, just fuse. Well, they're not at their full power right now. Not a problem. Piccolo places a hand on them, healing them pretty quickly. This is something he learned while training with the Kais. I mean, Namekians can heal too. And he's a weird combination of Namekians because Kami's within him, and other Namekians can kind of learn that too. So he wondered if he was capable of it, especially as a student of a Kai. And it turns out, he is. He now has that ability. Definitely worth noting for the future, but anyways, for now, they're just glad that they're fully healed. And the two of them perform the fusion dance. With Goku hoping that Vegeta doesn't screw it up because it is his first try, but he replicates it pretty perfectly. At least when Goku gives him a refresher. And the brand new fusion is born. He decides he will call himself Gogeta. That sounds pretty fitting for this. And Piccolo can tell that Gogeta's power is pretty high, but he says it might not be high enough. Alright, come on, he's gotta be kidding now. No, he's not. He tells Gogeta to go Super Saiyan 3 immediately. Gogeta's kinda taken aback. What kind of power is Piccolo hiding if he's saying to do that? Well, whatever. Gogeta powers up, transforming instantly into Super Saiyan 3. And Piccolo says now's the time to showcase his new form. He knows it's powerful. Beerus even prophesized it. It's not inherently divine, but with Piccolo's training and his access to godly ki, he's been able to imbue it within this form. A fiery orange ki surrounds him. The ground starts shaking. Everyone else watches nearby, and Gohan can't believe what he's sensing. That's Piccolo's power? And then suddenly it disappears as his godly ki flares up. But the pressure from him transforming, his aura, it's so insane. They can't believe what they're seeing. Even Gogeta looks a little bit nervous. Maybe Piccolo wasn't lying. After a massive explosion of ki, the area is filled with a blinding light, and as it clears, Piccolo stands there in a massive crater, surrounded by even more fire. He's bulked up considerably, even growing a bit in size. His antennae are standing up. His eyes, they're a piercing red color. And the most noticeable change of all, his skin has completely changed. He's orange all over. Piccolo says he's never been great with naming forms, so he just simply calls it his orange form. And he's glad to see how strong they've all grown. But now, it's his time to showcase how strong he's grown. Gogeta rushes in, delivering a flurry of punches, but Piccolo seems completely unfazed by it. Piccolo's not doing this as some ego boost, he just didn't realize how strong he's gotten. He really wants to test himself. Gogeta jumps back, trying some more attacks. He charges ki in his fist as he launches forward, with one final punch using all of his power. Piccolo simply blocks it with one hand. Gogeta then delivers a kick, Piccolo blocks it with its other hand. And with him holding Gogeta, he then spins him around midair, kicking him upwards. Gogeta catches himself midair. So much damage taken from one attack. But he can't see Piccolo now. He's vanished. He swings an arm behind him. Piccolo's there. He knew that he'd appear there. But Piccolo catches Gogeta's arm once more. Gogeta charges a ki blast in his other hand, launching it in Piccolo's face at full power, even briefly powering into Kaioken when he does so. That actually does leave a little bit of a scratch, but that's all it is. This fusion thing does seem pretty strong to Piccolo. As expected, the Namekian fusion was a big boost for him, so this fusion method, well, it's not too shocking that it's this strong. Gogeta tries attacking more and more, but Piccolo just seems completely unfazed the entire time. Gohan can't believe what he's seeing. Piccolo truly is that powerful. It's incredible. Gogeta tries to finish it with one final attack. He sticks out his hands in front of him, coupling them together. An ominous blue ball of ki appears, with energy swirling all around him. He shouts, "Big Bang Kamehameha," as he also powers up with a Kaioken when launching it, not holding anything back, going to the maximum level of Kaioken that he can. The blast is about to hit Piccolo head on, and Piccolo shouts. He charges ki, it surrounds his arm, and then he sticks his hand out in front of him, grabbing the outstretched arm with his other hand. The blast hits his hand and just dissipates around it. It goes around Piccolo completely. And this does actually strain him to try and block it, but after the blast dissipates, he just stands there, completely fine. And Gogeta ends up defusing. So Piccolo really wasn't bluffing. That is pretty insane. Well, Vegeta does know one thing. He wants to train for godly powers too. They need to join Beerus. But it's probably not going to be that simple. Whis and Beerus were there the entire time and they step out. The Saiyans do seem pretty powerful, but they're not on the level of Piccolo. But he'll consider. He'll see what he could do for them. Although, he doesn't really have a reason to take the Saiyans. They're not on Piccolo's level, and he doesn't know of a Super Saiyan God, so what is he supposed to do there? They're just gonna have to keep training and try to impress Beerus somehow. And Piccolo tells him he's glad that they kept up with their training, but keep doing it. And he smiles. He says he'll try to be around here more too. He's sorry that he neglected them for a bit. And now we go a little bit ahead. At some point, Champa is spotted in Universe 7, and the Universe X tournament takes place. As for the team, the pick is pretty obvious. Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. As for the fifth person, Vegeta decides he wants to recruit Trunks. Since they don't have anyone else anyways, Trunks might be the best pick, because Vegeta's pretty confident in Trunks' strength. They've been training intensely. He's made sure not to neglect Trunks. Especially because, unlike the main story, Vegeta's been around here the entire time. So when he's not sparring with Goku or Gohan, it's gonna be Trunks. And he does join the team. But before the tournament happens, there's a few big things that occur. For one, Beerus tells them if they perform well, they could trade under him. If they could really prove themselves, he'll take them on his planet, and Whis could train them, seeing what they can do with godly powers. And because of that, another pretty big thing happens. Goku and Vegeta decide they really want to train intensely before the tournament, going to the Room of Spirit in time beforehand, desperately trying to catch up in whatever way possible. And Gohan goes in there for a bit too, but doesn't stay in as long as them, which surprises Piccolo that he left so early. Is he not taking his training that seriously? Well, clearly he is, he's very strong, but Gohan actually feels like he's too far above them right now. Well, Piccolo tells him to not get overconfident. They'll find a way to surpass him. And he's honestly not too sure. It's not just him being overconfident, he just doesn't really know. Besides, intense training like that isn't really for him. He's fine just keeping up with the normal training. And he has what they just unlocked in the Room of Spirit in time. Wait, what they get now? Gohan says he'll keep it a secret, but Piccolo will see in the tournament. So the tournament itself begins. Gohan really hopes he's going to be able to show this off, but he doesn't know if he will. The order is Vegeta, Goku, Gohan, Trunks, then Piccolo. Although putting Vegeta first basically guarantees a victory for the first 4 rounds, because Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3 at some points and he's able to wipe out pretty much anyone he faces. Having grown way stronger in the time chamber. At some points he doesn't even need to do that, especially against Kappa, who he decides to help teach Super Saiyan. Although it is worth noting that even though Vegeta is way stronger than he was just before, compared to canon Vegeta, he's going to be way weaker. But he still does have something up his sleeve, and he shows us off against Hit. And he looks back to Kappa in the stands. Are they able to turn to Great Apes at all? Well, Kappa says they don't have their tails anymore, but he knows that maybe in the past they were able to, but he's not too sure. Well, Vegeta tells him to get a load of this. While they're in the time chamber, they tested this out. Even without their tails, Vegeta wanted to see if they could turn to Great Apes again somehow, and try and learn something from there. Thankfully, Vegeta does know how to create an artificial moon, and even though it wasn't too concentrated with the Blutz waves, it seemed to be just enough, as long as Vegeta put a lot of power into it. And now, he has this brand new form. He's able to transform into it at will. And thanks to his great control over Great Ape, he was actually the first one to access this, briefly putting him ahead of the others, until Goku and Gohan got it as well. He starts to power up. His hair grows out, but it doesn't change color. And his clothes, at least the top, disappears. Fur replaces it, as a tail grows out his back too. A fierce ki surrounds him as he's ready to face Hit. This is what they just called Super Saiyan 4. A fight with Hit ensues, and surprisingly, Vegeta is able to briefly keep up. But once Hit starts taking it a little bit more seriously, it's gonna get a little bit tough for that. Although, Beerus is kind of impressed. The power coming off of that, it is pretty nice. But also Piccolo comments on it. He can't believe how fast they grew. Even though they were using the time chamber, still, that was very quick, and the motivation, it definitely paid off. And you know, maybe Beerus underestimated these Saiyans. Vegeta does end up losing against Hit, and the following matches go pretty much the same. Goku goes up against him and uses Super Saiyan 4 and ends up losing, and Gohan does too. He ends up losing as well. So all 3 of them have this power, and at least for the time being, they're all around equal footing. Trunks then goes up, and he can't really do too much against Hit. He doesn't even have a chance to show off Super Saiyan 3, which he now has. And now it just comes down to a 1v1. Hit versus Piccolo. But Piccolo's sure that he could handle this. Even though this guy has been growing with every fight that he had, and he has the ability to time skip, that doesn't matter to Piccolo. You know what's crazy too that I'm just thinking of while making this video? We saw how strong Orange Piccolo was in the main story, and that's not a godly form. He doesn't have any godly powers there. Here he has the same form, but now he has godly ki imbued within it. So if he was that strong without godly ki, what's he gonna be like here? Well, it's safe to say he'll beat Hit, pretty easily in fact. He might not even need to go orange. Due to his insane training and the fact that he got his orange form and his power awakened form early on, and that he now has godly ki, I also think it's safe to say that Piccolo at this point in this story, he's beyond the current Piccolo in the main series. That's how insane he is. But hey, it is the whole point of the scenario after all, so you can only imagine how far ahead he is of the others. But hopefully that's not for long, because now, Beerus finally wants to take the Saiyans training with him. They don't know about Super Saiyan God, and he doesn't know what kind of potential they have, but he does know they do have some sort of potential. And Gohan decides to stay back. Again, he's not being overconfident, he decides that he just wants to stay on Earth because that kind of intense training isn't for him, and it doesn't fit with his lifestyle. But he feels that with Super Saiyan 4, he can continue improving, and he'll try to go beyond this as well. Yeah, Goku and Vegeta might have their own godly powers at some point, but Gohan will find some new way to evolve, whether that's as a human or a Saiyan. He has both those factors working for him. So, happy ending, right? Well, not really, because soon after, with the Universe X tournament happening, there's going to be another consequence of this. Trunks returns to the past, with a message from the future. He says that they've been attacked by someone that looks like Piccolo, and he doesn't think that it could be him. That makes no sense. Can't be King Piccolo because King Piccolo's gone. And besides the fact that Piccolo's good, he's also dead in this timeline, so that makes no sense. Trunks thought maybe it could have been another Namekian that just looks similar to him, but no. Why would they be attacking here, and why does his ki feel like that? But as he's explaining everything, a portal appears in the sky, and someone steps through it. It's Piccolo. It looks exactly like him, except a few different changes. He's wearing an earring, he's wearing some sort of ring, and his clothes are completely different. But it does look like Piccolo. Thankfully, the actual Piccolo's on Earth at this time, and he looks up to the spitting image of himself. He can't believe it. Who is this? Is it some sort of imposter maybe? He doesn't know for sure, but Piccolo Black stares down at him and smiles. The two lock eyes, and this is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time, especially with Piccolo Black showing up? Let me know your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more like this and want to help support the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.